A continuous story through the season? Historical foes coming back? There's nothing that could ruin this for me!
Hey, Eric!
What?
This episode canonized Equestria Girls.
Darn you, Stardust! Hello interwebs, I'm Eric and welcome to TheLooneyTurtle. So a little while ago, My Little Pony had a season finale that I actually enjoyed. In the past, they've built up their season finales in a variety of different ways. As an example, in Season 5, they built up the final episode by having key episodes, in which one of the main characters got an item that ended up being used to unlock the Deus Ex Machina in the final episode. They've also been doing this trick where they introduce something in the season opener only to forget about it until the final episode. But in this season, they did something slightly different. Strewn about the season, there are a couple of episodes where legends are told to the audience. 3 told at a campfire, 1 told to prevent a zebra from turning into a tree, and an episode where Daring Do is tricked into thinking that she's ruined everything.
Except she totally did break everything, but it's alright now because she's got money.
These episodes stand alone pretty well, but they also subtly give the audience some context for the season finale, where these characters are discovered to be real ponies. Unlike the Keys arc, where every key was highlighted with the main 6-themed rainbow shine, there aren't any clear signs that these characters are going to come back later in the season.
While you do have some valid points there, and yes, the writers did do a better job at building up this finale, the finale itself sucked. Not to mention, they did kind of mess up on the writing for this two-parter. While it was nice to see the ponies from the legends be real, and of course finally see Starswell the Bearded in the flesh, the story they put them in was just okay. Like for years we've heard of Twilight talk about Starswell and how powerful and magical he is, and we hear the same thing about all these other ponies in the legends that we're told about them. But when we see them, all they really do is talk and never really show us what they can do. All we have to go off is their stories, which are fine, I guess, but they're real and right in front of us, and all you have them do is talk about finding this pony of shadows, who they say is all evil and horrible, but doesn't even do anything. Like Starswell himself got furious with Twilight for releasing them all because in doing so, she also released the Pony of Shadows. But what does he do? Just hides away for the 2 episodes till like the last battle. If you're going to build up a character as the bad guy and make him sound all powerful and threatening, the least you could do is show us what he's gonna do or is doing.
Yeah, I'll admit that this isn't one of the strongest villains in the series. With Nightmare Moon, Discord, Tyrek, Chrysalis, and Twilight Clone, they are actively trying to ruin the main 6's ability to save the day. In contrast, the Shadow Pony has a similar role to the crystal-loving emperor of the Crystal Slaves.
Hey, those were some hard times, okay? The war, being a slave, the chains. I remember like it was yesterday.
Yeah. But the Shadow Pony has one up on Sombra because he's actually got some character. In the Crystal Empire episodes, King Sombra is the epitome of a useless villain as he spends the majority of the episode waiting. And beyond that, the dialogue is limited to crystals, no, and slaves. Very creative, guys. Top-notch writing. On the flip side, the Shadow Pony is seen morphing around. And rather than just giving his character an exposition dump, he has motivation and the will to do better. He doesn't become what he is because he's just destined to. He did it because he was cast out and lost his way, much like Princess Luna.
However, I do enjoy Sombra as a villain more. He didn't just wait around and do nothing. He put traps inside the castle so no one could reach their heart, and even if they did, he made it so they couldn't get away with it. He planned ahead. The Pony of Shadows just kind of poofed for the entire episode. But I will give you this, his backstory was fleshed out more. He was outcasted and didn't know where else to go. So when the darkness accepted him, he went with it. My only issue is that in his backstory, he doesn't even try to defend himself. He was outcasted because the pillars thought he was going to use their elements for evil, which yes, is bad of them for assuming, but if he wasn't going to use them for evil, shouldn't he have stood up for himself and told them that he was going to use them so he could be helpful too? I understand what's being like outcasted for assumptions, but at least I defend myself. If the Pony of Shadows made an attempt to stand up for himself and they still pushed him aside, then his reasoning would be all more reasonable. But what I got was not too similar but close enough to Starlight's backstory. all of this could be resolved if either of them had said something to begin with instead of letting the worst happen.
I'm not bothered by that aspect of his character. While all of this could have been avoided if he just defended himself, he seems like the type of character that would shut down under confrontation. The thing that bothered me more about this episode was how it contradicted some of the previously established lore. In both the Journal of the Two Sisters and the show, they've made the Tree of Harmony a legendary artifact that has always just been. There wasn't a clearly defined place that it came from, and it's acted as a sort of sage for the main six over the years. If we go back to the defeat of Discord, Celestia and Luna discovered the elements.
Are you sure? We have managed to discover the only means by which we can defeat Discord and free the citizens of Equestria.
And in the Journal of the Two Sisters, Starswell directs them to a place near the Tree of Harmony.
Anyhow, as we continued our search, Starswell told us about this place in Equestria called the Everfree Forest.
But Luna is actually the one who finds it.
But then at the edge, there's this ravine. And deep in the ravine, there's this really cool tree. And I don't know, there's just something about it. Something magical.
Starswell later reveals that this is the Tree of Harmony, to which Celestia fangirls about, but then says,
I've read about the Tree of Harmony in books, but I didn't actually know it existed. According to legend, the Tree of Harmony is incredibly powerful, and it is said to hold the elements of all that is good and true.
Meaning that this tree has been around long enough to become a legend. Luna being banished for over 1,000 years? Yeah, that's a legend. The pillars mysteriously disappearing thousands of years ago? Yeah, a legend, I can accept that. Something that was made in one cult's lifetime? How old is this guy? Beyond that, Starswell doesn't even seem to know what everything on the tree means.
On it, there are 3 markings. A sun, a moon, and a star. I've asked Starswell what these stand for, but he seems to have no idea.
If he made the tree, then he should know what the heck these markings are for. But for some reason, it's just slipped his mind.
I do have to agree with you there. Another thing is, if Celestia and Luna were around when Starswell was, wouldn't they have known about the pillars too? I'm kinda wondering why they didn't know why Starswell and the other pillars just disappeared. Did Starswell not tell them? I would think he would on the off chance someone was trying to bring them back, so they could tell them why they couldn't be brought back. Like, if he couldn't tell them in person, couldn't he have left a note or have one of the guards tell them? Starswell, bro, what were you thinking? And don't give me the, oh, there was this book that started in Sunburst had. If that book was so important and had the whereabouts of the most powerful unicorn and the protectors of Equestria, then why didn't the princesses have it? Sorry, I wanted to like this episodes. I really did, but there were just so many things wrong with them for me to enjoy. I get what they were trying to do with this 2-parter, but it just didn't hold up. I'm a very disappointed Stardust, and I give this 2-parter 2 out of 10 boops.
I would personally give it more around a 6 out of 10 boops because, while there was some contradictory lore, the writers are at least trying to explore more equestrian history. It expands this world that I've been following for 7 years, and that's something that I want to encourage. However, there needs to be some more thought and effort put into it all. As always, what do you guys think? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below, and once you're done with that, then head on over to Stardust's channel.
Yeah, there's cookies, and music, and cookies and boops. Oh, don't forget the boops! Did I mention cookies? I think I did. But in case I didn't, there's cookies!